NotebookLM just got Gemini 3 and Claude just got a browser that clicks buttons for you. And when you combine them, you get an AI assistant that researches, organizes, and takes action across your entire browser while you're literally doing something else. No coding, no complicated setup, no hiring a VA to do boring, repetitive tasks. Just tell it what you want, watch your work, get results. Today, I'm testing this live. You can actually see an example here, and I was experimenting with it before. So what you can see here on the right-hand side is I have the Claude browser use agent. And essentially what we said is open NotebookLM, create a notebook called this, add these competitor websites, load up their services, put it into a data table, compare their USP, their content strategy, export the data table to Google Sheets, then generate an audio overview summarizing the competitive landscape. And you can see here it says, here's what we've done, here's how we've done it, blah, blah, blah. And you can see the audio overview was generated, right? It blew my mind how easy it was to do this. So, for example, here, if we have a look at this notebook, you can see that it actually created the notebook step by step. Pretty simple and easy to do. And you can see here it's generated the audio automatically, which is basically a podcast of the competitor analysis. Now, the other thing is as well, they actually created this data table. So we've got a data table right here, analyzing all the data of our competitors. I just plugged in my own websites just to make it simple and easy. And then you can see over here, we have that exported to a Google Sheet that Claude actually opened up, checked the results of, and did everything in the background whilst I was preparing for this video, my friends, whilst I was doing this in the background. So it's absolutely mind blowing. I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up, how to use it, etc. The video notes from today are inside the AI Success Lab, which is a community of 42,100 members, as you can see right here. Now, if you go to the classroom and then you go to December 2025, scroll down to this section, and you will find all the resources and the video notes from today. So how do we do this? What are we using? What we're actually using is Claude in Chrome, which is their browser use agent. It works in Chrome. It can actually navigate, see the screen, click buttons, work inside whatever ecosystem and logins you have. Once you've loaded that up, you're going to see this extension that looks like so. You can switch between Opus, Haiku, 4.5. I didn't even use the best version for doing this. I actually just use Haiku 4.5. As you can see right over here, it did it. But then we actually created something even better, which is this more complicated prompt here. I was basically trying to break it, and it just kept going and actually doing this stuff. Now, this is amazing because it really is at a point where you're thinking, okay, why are you hiring like people to click buttons in your team or your agency or whatever, right? The crazy thing about this is you can create notebooks, add sources, generate audios, overviews, you can build data tables, all whilst I'm working on something else entirely. And I think this may be the future of how solopreneurs will run their business, like one person, because you can have multiple AI agents working simultaneously. Yes, they can actually do stuff. Yes, they can generate podcasts, do research, create Google Sheets, analyze data, plug in data into spreadsheets, as you can see automatically, all whilst I'm doing something else. And the crazy part is both of these tools you can combine. And I'm going to show you how to set up Claude for Chrome to control Notebook automatically today. The exact prompts to make this work, a 30-day system to build your own AI research army or army of AI agents to do anything, basically. Some live demos that might completely break, but that's how we learn. And why this changes everything for content creators, agency owners, coaches, and consultants. So let's just see if this actually works again or if it's just hype. Stick around, all right? The method that we're going to be using here is something called the Browser Agent Research System. All right, so it's not about finding the best tool. It's about making tools work together. And NotebookLM is incredible for researching and organizing information, but you still have to click it manually. You have to open it, create notebooks, add sources, click buttons, wait, click more buttons. That's time consuming. And that's where Claude for Chrome changes everything. It's literally an AI that can see your browser and click things for you, like having a virtual assistant sitting next to you, except this one works 24/7, doesn't need coffee breaks, and never complains about boring tasks. All right, so this is brand new technology, but let's test it out and see what we can do here. So if we go over to Claude, as you can see, I'm tempted to use Opus 4.5 just to see how it goes. You can switch between ask before acting or act without asking. Now, if you want to be careful, obviously this is logged into your Chrome, right? So, you don't want to mess anything up that you're logged into. Then just go with ask before acting and make sure you're happy with it. before you go. You can actually teach Claude stuff as well here, but let's test this out. In some ways, I'm actually hoping this doesn't work. It'd be interesting to see if it breaks, but it's given us a plan here. You can see how quickly it actually replies as well. And here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Let's get started. All right. So I'm going to approve the plan here and get started with this. Okay. Ash says, don't think they make you power user. This agent automates but doesn't engage you. Let's see. I wouldn't consider, I do use Claude a lot, to be fair. More and more, especially since ChatGPT 5.2 came out and it made ChatGPT worse in many ways. But you can see here, it's beginning to set up a notebook for my SEO agency. And these are like real use cases, right? This is like stuff we would actually do for our agency, some research we would do. Maybe we don't have the resources for it sometimes, and so we don't do it. But if you've got an army of AI agents that can just go off and build notebooks, and do research and compare data tables and rename them and organize them properly, like you can see it's actually doing right here. So it's renaming Goldie Agency SOPs over here, as you can see, and then it is beginning to build out the notebook. So this is all automatically running whilst I'm talking to you. You can see that it's fairly straightforward to actually be able to use this stuff, right? This is not anything fancy that I'm doing. I don't need to code. I don't need to be technical to use this or anything like that. All right. So it's now adding the website sources to the document. So what it actually does is it screenshots step by step exactly what it's doing and how it's working. And then it's going to access the website button, reading the page, and then it will just go off and do its magic. All right. So this is literally like an AI agent that can see things, click things, etc. Now you can see it's navigated to the website URL section. And bear in mind, like you're just going off and doing stuff in the background, right? So, you know, when you're actually completing this task, you're not even thinking about it. It's not really containing any sort of energy inside your mind. You can see it's now written goldieagency.com inside the website section, and it's beginning to add this out. Crazy Gamer says agentic AI can make Chrome extension for this exist and do faster than the screenshot, and that's even better. The other thing you could do is actually train Notebook on the sources and the typical tasks that you do day to day. You train it once, you got the SOP baked into Claude, and then it can just go off and do its magic each time, right? Now, what it's also doing in the background here, you'll see at the top, is it is navigating to YouTube. So it's navigating to YouTube, it's researching link building strategies. It's going to find some link building strategy YouTube URLs that it can plug into NotebookLM, and then it's good to go. Now, whilst it's working in the background, let me talk you through like the Goldie agent stack framework. And it's something that I've been thinking a lot about, right? And so, for example, I'll track every single minute of my time, the day, the task, what it's related to, how many minutes I worked on it, etc. And then I either delegate what I can't personally do, or I actually automate it, right? Now, this framework is how I'm approaching AI agents in 2026. So this is the next move, really. It's called the Goldie agent stack, and here's the concept, right? So, for example, you've got layer one, which is the research agent, and for example, you could use like NotebookLM and deep research. You've got Claude for Chrome. Then you've got layer three, which is the creation agent. So you could use, for example, like Gemini plus Claude for content. And then layer four is like distribution agent. So that's the automations that publish stuff, right? And when these layers work together, you basically become like a one-person media company, but one person doing the work of 10 people without the chaos, without the burnout, without hiring before you're ready, right? And so let's go back to NotebookLM now, see what we're up to. So it's plugged in the YouTube URL, as you can see as well. So it's actually sourced YouTube videos about link building. I think a smarter way to do this, like Ash says, is you could use the deep research features and you'll actually get more sources that you can load in, and you'll get those loaded in faster. This is just an example of like how it can navigate to different pages around the web and then plug those into NotebookLM. And then Crazy Gamer says, also after building all the layers, we can create Omni Agent to monitor like a hierarchical office structure. Literally Jarvis. Yeah, it's crazy what you can do with this. Like is wild. And you can see now it's generating the audio overview. Just to recap the steps here and what it's done, this is absolutely amazing, honestly. Like it is gone to NotebookLM, it's created a new notebook called Goldie Agency SOPs, it's added these sources, so goldieagency.com and YouTube link building strategies. It waited for those sources to load, then it generated an audio view, which you can see generating over here. And it's also generating a table, a data table based on the two sources, okay? And it's comparing the key strategies mentioned. And again, like you might say, isn't it faster using a virtual assistant to do this for you or someone on your team. But the difference here is number one, you don't need to manage and hire and QC people, quality control them. Number two, this is running in the background. So it doesn't really matter about the speed as long as it gets done within a reasonable time frame, like you can see it's doing today. The other difference here is that you don't have all the stress of managing a team. I have a team of 50 people. I love them all, but it does take a lot of time and it requires a lot of stress running a big agency like this, right? Whereas, for example, with these sort of tasks, and these are quite complex tasks, the other thing here as well is like Claude already understands how to use NotebookLM. Whereas unless you train someone on this cutting edge technology, they're not going to understand how to use NotebookLM yet, right? That might take them a day to figure out. So you're saving a lot of time right here. All right. So that basically completed the task successfully. We generated the data tables, everything else, created the SAP section. I'm going to stop this Claude now because it's pretty much good to go. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to say open NotebookLM, create a notebook called YouTube Content Ideas, January 2026. Use deep research to find the latest AI automation tools and updates, add the deep research report as a source, then add these YouTube sources. I'm actually going to remove the YouTube sources just to make it faster, and then generate a mind map of all the content topics covered, right? Create flashcards for the key concepts. Let me know when everything's ready. So let's plug that in. Evan says, is Opus free? I don't think it's free. I think it is part of the pro plan, especially the Chrome browser, the AI agent. But honestly, if it saves you time, it's worth it, right? And you can see here is actually reported back to me on all the competitor stuff and giving me a new plan for the next task. And bear in mind, this doesn't get tired like a human would, right? This is really mind blowing. So Ash says, I want to know how to use NotebookLM search better, like high level data processing. So the best feature for that really is the deep research reports. Then you can pull in a lot of stats, a lot of research, a lot of case studies, right? And once you've done that, then you can actually turn those into data tables. And with the data tables, you can then export those to Google Sheets, analyze them. Or the other thing you can do is you can actually go over to Gemini and you can take a research report that you've created via NotebookLM, right? So you can actually take multiple, right? So we could take a couple like these. And then we could say, okay, turn this into a dynamic view where I can study all the stats in my industry, all the industry reports, etc., and really understand the data behind it. And that way, I think humans sometimes we struggle with data and a lot of it and seeing patterns, whereas typically AI is very good with pattern recognition when it comes to working with data. So you see how powerful this stuff is today. I've shown you exactly how to use it, how to set it up, etc. It's working its magic right here. It's created the YouTube Content Ideas January section. That'll just work in the background like I've been talking about whilst I talk to you. So what I've actually done inside the video notes from today is create the 30-day browser agent mastery plan. All right. And I'm going to give you a 30-day plan to master all this stuff, not like theory or fluff, like actual steps you can start using today. I've tested this out. I've shown you that it works. It has completed pretty much every tool and task I've given it, which is pretty amazing. And it walks you through what to do every single day. Plus it gives you prompts and how you can prompt the AI agent to do stuff for you, right? So if you want to test this out yourself, you can go through the whole method as you can see right here. It says I'm on the pro plan, I can't pull in notebooks. If you can't pull in notebooks on Gemini, then what you can do is actually export the data table and then run that through, for example, AI Studio or something like that. You could ask Claude even to take the data from the data table and then plug that into Gemini and create a Canva and that sort of thing. Christian says, I'm losing count of all the Google AI tools. Maybe they should make clear ones on which ones to use, which purpose. Many people, this is not clear. 100%. What I actually do inside the AI Profit Boardroom, I do this as a weekly update. As you can see, I actually posted one today. I do these weekly updates, and it's basically the only AI update you need each week, right? And basically what it runs you through is 80 hours of my work per week, and it condenses that into 5 minutes of work where you just read the update. You're like, here's what's good, here's what to ignore, etc. So you can see here, here's what's worth your time, here's what to remove. And I spend these 80 hours testing AI major releases, so you don't have to. Give you the TLDR inside the AI Profit Boardroom. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. It's available at the AIProfitBoardroom.com, or you can just search it on Google or just check out the link in the comments description. But that's basically how you can use it. That's probably the fastest way, I think, to learn AI and figure out, okay, what's worth your time and what's worth ignoring. So you can see here, for example, you could actually schedule your research prompts and that sort of thing. And this is a 30-day plan that just takes you from beginner to expert with a 30-day transformation plan. All right. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. This is just an amazing community of winners using AI automation. If you want to, for example, ask questions, connect with 1,900 serious AI automation builders. If you want to get all of my best trainings, and also if you want to jump on live coaching calls to just get help 4 times a week, you can. And the other cool thing about this is that you can actually jump on these coaching calls, and we have a PhD scientist who's trained in AI that can help you, right, with your questions live. You also, inside the AI Automation Masterclass here, we'll show you how to build AI agents in under 5 minutes, plus how to go from a complete beginner to an expert in just 5 weeks with AI automation. On top of that, you'll also get my playbook with all of my best trainings, automations, Twitter, shorts. If you want to learn how I create avatar videos, we've got a full process inside there. If you want to learn how we create screen shares with AI avatars, we've got a full process here, right? And on top of that, we also got, for example, all these different trainings on like lead generation and social media, NA10 templates, full agency course on how to get clients. We record the coaching calls if you can't watch it back. We have our best AI SEO automations and YouTube AI as well. On top of that, if you sign up to the AI Profit Boardroom, you also get free access to the SEO Elite Circle as well. So whilst you're an active member, so feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. You can see all the people winning with this stuff right here, as you can see, right? So people are just getting awesome results with this stuff, and it's just an amazing place to be. I'm grateful to be part of it.